mob mentality. What the hell is that, right? Al Capone complex? No, it's a little more complicated than that, even though both mob mentality and Al Capone complex are violent and destructive. So just recently, I experienced firsthand the social media mob rush to crucify me for something I had not done. Even people who are on my friend list all of a sudden had become Al Capones too. So I couldn't help but want to analyze studies on mob mentality and figure out why some people shoot first and ask later, especially when it comes to social media. So Dr. Christian Gliadich from the University of Essex has compared the common patterns of riots to wildfires. And we can totally use this analogy to analyze social media mob. He says, there's some evidence suggesting that the severity of riots is inversely proportional to their frequency. It's kind of like a forest fire. Most fires go out very quickly, but a few become catastrophic. Once they reach a certain magnitude, they can become self-sustaining and hard to contain. And that's exactly what happened. The incident turned into one accusation about one thing, into all of a sudden it blew into 100 different things. And I sat there for a while, staring at people who knew me, liking and saying hate-filled comments. So why is that? Well, option one is some people are just assholes, right? That's for sure. But the other option is that some people have a very clear destructive intent.
That I cannot do.
And an ability to make that intent spread like wildfire. The leaders that intensify the accusations, gossips, whatever it is, have a very, very clear objective in mind. And that is to destroy the person by being the fire starter. They're not looking to help in any manner. And then, of course, many follow. When you're in a crowd or group setting, some people will do anything to seek approval, to feel like they fit in, even if that includes hating something or someone you don't even know about exactly. So let's be honest, right? How many times have you liked something without even reading it? Or shared something without taking a look at it because your newsfeed was showing that everyone else was doing? Right, that's what I thought. Some psychologists argue that the crowd mentality make people lose their sense of self. That is called de-indi viduation, and I completely reject that theory. And I side with psychologists like Russell Spears, who say such models depend upon an individualistic conception of the self viewed as a unitary construct, referring to that which makes individuals unique. Translating that into my world, when people engage in mob mentality without checking facts or waiting for more information to arise, it is nothing but a narcissistic attempt to fit in. It is a selfish act masked in the false idea of standing in solidarity, when in fact, all they seek is to feel good about themselves. And I clearly saw that happening to me. People pretending to be outraged by the event only to push their own agenda, taking advantage of chaos to add more lies, which would be easily believed in that state. So for those leaders, I honestly don't even want to waste my time with you because you're in for the thrill, not the facts. But everyone else that follows, I like to have a word with you. You have to take responsibility for your violent actions. No, it wasn't just the heat of the moment. No, it wasn't just because you wanted to be a good ally. So let's eliminate those excuses. You made a mistake. You jumped in too quickly, trying to fit in and seek for approval while helping the other person drown. So what can you do to avoid acting like a mobster again? Funny enough, I recently got my learner's permit. Hooray! And I learned something really, really interesting about road rage. According to Alison Potter, road rage could be encouraged by the fact that drivers feel secure by being surrounded by a locked metal box. So secure that they think that they can become anonymous. And drivers were 7 times more likely to hit pedestrians in the virtual world when they had a sense of anonymity. Drivers with car with tinted windows could be even more dangerous. On the other hand, drivers with convertible cars drove less aggressively. And according to the theory, it is because they were more exposed that they had more contact with the victim and the victim with the perpetrator. And that makes complete sense when we bring that study into our computer. It is extremely easy to forget there's a human being behind the screen, someone with feelings, someone who could have committed a genuine mistake. And it's easy to hide behind the monitor. So practical advice to the person being accused and the person accusing. Number 1, reach out to the party before posting anything public. A public rant or what it may seem like a meaningless status update can generate more damage than good, especially when there was no chance given to the other party to speak. Number 2, always make a video call. I firmly believe that most conflicts could be avoided if people simply talked. Right? A video call will ensure that both parties remember that they are people with facial expressions, gestures, tones, not just a line of paragraphs on a social media feed. In fact, that's the first thing we advise to do on our conflict resolution model.
What? They are human? What?
Number 3, turn something ugly into something beautiful. Think of ways to mend the situation where both parties learn from each other and move forward amicably. And to the people just watching the situation unfold, number 1, you don't have anything constructive to say? Then shut up. If you're not going to offer solutions, but rather just add to the pile of hatred, then stay out of it. I remember when I first became an activist, I would share cases of non-human animal violence, and instead of elaborating on why that was wrong, or instead of like creating some sort of like call to action to try and fix that with my community, I would say things like, I hope that piece of garbage dies. You see how that's empty? How this is just like repulsive and childish? Yeah, don't be that person. Number 2, check facts. Did you actually see screenshots of the conversation, or were you just believing everything that was being paraphrased? Yeah, those are 2 completely different things. Number 3, are you a drama magnet, or are you in because you care? So people love drama, right? Conflict, seeing people get hurt, blood, whatever. You have to ask yourself, what's your role in all of this? Are you just in because it's fun, or do you genuinely want to help? And if you want to help, just follow step 1, 2, 3. So I want to thank you all for watching this. I think it's very important that we try to come up with ways where we can avoid repeating the same mistakes, especially in our community of non-human animal liberation, which is a small community enough to cause a lot of damage. So thank you very much.